Welcome to the 10th episode of Season 2 of Overrated. This is also our season finale. Woo.
Yeah.
My name is Sujay, and I'm joined this week by the Suryas again, Surya, Makthal, and Surya Tumbapura. And this episode, we're going to be discussing Paul Blart Mall Cop, starring Kevin James, Raimi Rodriguez, and Jayma Mays, directed by Andy Fickman and Steve Carr. So we'll not waste any time. Let's get right into Where Were You? I said that this movie right here, this is the peak of sleepover movies for like our generation. Like this is like 2010 prime time. Like all the boys are in their sleeping bags. I'm pretty sure I watched this at your house, Surya, for the first time.
I think that's when I watched it too.
So, yeah.
That's kind of what I said too. I said I'm honestly not sure when I first watched this or actually even how many times. It's one of those movies it's just on, and it's not like one you like specifically go to the theater to like watch, at least not for me, but it was just on playing, and I think I've seen it once or twice, but it's just one of those.
I'm fairly certain. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that I saw this in the theaters, actually.
Really? Okay.
It might have been for like another birthday party type deal, but yeah, I feel like this is one of those things that I saw at like a movie theater. At least the first time.
That's fair. I meant it's not one of those ones like when we all saw like Infinity War together. It's like we were like anticipating the arrival, like, you know.
It's like when you. Yeah, I was waiting for Paul Blart Mall Cop for years.
And then the sequel came out too. Like
it was awful, but we moved. Yeah. All right, we can go into score it. So first personal score. So I actually really like this movie. Like it's such an engaging movie, and like every scene of it all the way through, I'm just like super into. So I said 70%. That's higher than other stuff. You also say 70?
I actually also said 70 to 75%.
Dang, okay. I feel like it's like the complete opposite on this episode now. I gave it a 40.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh no,
okay, so
no.
See, here's the thing though. Like 40 doesn't, like my 40 doesn't translate to like your 40, because I feel
probably.
like I would still watch it if it came on TV, but like, I don't think it's a good movie.
Well, okay, I don't think it's an amazing movie either, but it's just like one of those childhood classics. So for the culture, you know, I got
for the nostalgia.
Yeah,
I guess for the same reason I would like episode 1 high. Right.
I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
I still like it. It's just that like I don't think that it's great at all.
Yeah. So for Rotten Tomatoes, both the critics and audience kind of agree with you, Makthal. Critics had a 33%, not great.
Ooh, that's tough.
The audience wasn't much higher with 43%. So
okay, I guess that's close enough.
Okay.
So this is our chance to prove them wrong or prove them right, I guess. Let's talk about the plot. So quick plot summary.
Okay.
Mall cop Paul Blart finds himself in the middle of a robbery when Vec, a thief masquerading as a security guard, takes over the mall and holds Paul's crush Amy and his daughter Maya hostage. Paul must use his brains and limited brawn to save the hostages, stop Vec from stealing the shop's credit card numbers, and defend his mall from the robbers. So it's a pretty it's a pretty standard plot, I guess. Not too many twists and turns along the way, except for one big twist towards the end.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say like the overall idea is pretty interesting. Like, you don't really hear about like mall cop, right? Like,
yeah, the untold story.
Yeah.
I hope there's like a reaction video somewhere. It's like real life mall cop reacts to Paul Blart.
There might be.
That's gotta exist.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we can start with memeable scenes then. So I had like 5 of them. I swear I missed a bunch of them because like right towards like the middle to end of the movie, just a bunch of them happened like right after another. So I'm just gonna say mine. You guys feel free to add in if you have the same or if you want to add some. So I'm gonna start with the beginning when he had that like segue scene, and then like Blue Sky is playing. I really like the segue like throughout the movie, but like this one sets up like a lot of jokes, like one right after the other, like him running over the dog, him running into the mall minivan, and then him getting like dragged by that dude in the scooter. So I think all those were set up like well, and like it was like Paul Blart's introduction, which I really liked.
I just love, I don't know, so I just like internally chuckle every time he does like a body roll, just, or not a body roll, but like, you know, when he like does a somersault, like to like seem like sneaky. But I think one of my best scenes was, it's also one of my favorite scenes, but it's like when he's fighting those two guys like near the Santa's helpers thing, and like they chase him into the store and he crawls into the vet and just somehow ends up winning that altercation. But that's just me.
I think even before both of those, like I really liked the training montage. Well, not montage, but like the training like part.
The police academy.
Police academy, yeah. Like I don't know. There's just something about like him doing pretty much everything perfectly, and then just like at first I didn't realize why he just like starts sleeping. Like they explain why later, but like at that moment it made no sense to me. But I mean, it's pretty cool that he can do all that, right?
Yeah, it was really nice. Surya, as our resident doctor, can you tell us, is that actually how hypoglycemia works?
How what works? Sorry?
Hypoglycemia? Do you just like fall asleep at random spots?
I don't think so. I mean, it's not like I totally forgot the condition, but it's like the one where you actually just like don't like undergo like REM cycles and you can like fall asleep behind the wheel.
Narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy, yeah. It's not like that where you can just literally pass out. I think you start to get tired with hyperglycemia, but like it's not like what the movie made it out to be.
Yeah,
it's a drop.
Yeah. Oh my god. I would expect nothing less though.
We talk about how this guy drives his Segway to work.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like he drives it all the way from his house to work. Like he doesn't pick it up at the mall. But yeah,
he loves that Segway.
I also had that scene that you were talking about, Surya. I think with the first interaction with like Beck's henchman. Like there's like this like when they jump in front of him like and do all that parkour stuff, and then like he's on the Segway and he just like has a seizure on it, and he's just like
to try to be cool.
Then like right after he like defeats the girl or whatever, like the dude just like runs away. Like I didn't understand that.
That didn't make any sense. Like he probably could have taken it.
Yeah, like it was just him and he fell out of a duct, and then the dude's like, okay, I can't fuck with this, like I gotta leave.
I mean, with the way things were going, I feel like at the time maybe he probably could have taken him. But
yeah,
with like the general trend of the movie later, like
I
he
know.
just made it worse for himself.
Comes God. I had another scene like right before then, the American Joe's like bar scene where like he like walks into the bar for the first time and he like sees like Amy or whatever, and she like starts like being like, hey, come over, and then like just the facial interaction they have in that scene is so funny. He's like, oh yeah, and then she's like, oh, yeah, well. It's just so weird. But, yeah. Later in that scene also, I also like how the notion that like he drinks like 2 margaritas and that's enough to get like this absolute unit drunk. Like he is like so big. There's no way that 2 margaritas would like finish him.
Maybe he's a secret lightweight
thing.
I guess because he doesn't drink, so that's one thing. So like his body might not be used to it, but yeah.
You know, they really thought about the science actually when planning this movie.
Right? Except for the fact that hypoglycemia doesn't just like make you die. And then like just him being drunk, like there's a lot of like just like kind of cringy scenes there.
Yeah.
But it's what we enjoyed as kids, I think.
I like the part where he climbs on stage and just chucks the singer off.
Yeah, he just assaulted this dude, falls backwards through the window. It's a lot of physical comedy in this like movie. Like that's Kevin James' specialty.
Yeah. It's just him like just breaking things and like I don't know, just being a goof, and that's what we like.
Yeah. All right. Later on in the movie, I have where he like the like suit up scene. I guess there's like 2 or 3 like him getting psyched moments in the movie. But this is the one where, like, in the middle of all the action, he decides to A, change into an all-black getup, like he changes his clothes, and B, break into a gift card store and get a birthday card for Amy. Both of which like made like zero sense in like the grand scheme. Like, I don't know if he had like were on a clock or something, but he's like, all right, fuck it, like I got time to spare.
At first, I thought he was trying to like find clothes that matched like the hench people, and like maybe try to like disguise himself. But even then, like, how would he even pass off as like?
Yeah. And then like when he's talking to Vec, and then there's just like another hypoglycemia like dropout moment. He just like drops. And he's like, eat the lollipop. Like I was like, oh, okay. And then
he uses hypoglycemia like a superpower.
I know, but it's like the opposite of superpowers. It's like whenever they need to like put a joke about how he's fat, just have him like drop.
Yeah.
And then like when he's talking to Vec, and he's like, he says something along the lines of like, he's like, when are you gonna give up? And Paul is like, I'll meet you at the corner of Net and Ver. And I was like, okay. As a kid, I remember that line so vividly, and I was like, this is such a banger of a line. But now I'm just like, what the fuck?
Like that.
Shit.
Throw hands.
Imagine saying that when trying to throw hands, like, all right, yo, you want to meet me on the corner of Nat and Vert?
I mean, I would say that if I was someone.
If someone says that to you, you know that they're about to kill you.
Oh, yeah. Bloodthirst right there.
Last scene I had was the car chase scene. I just thought it was really funny how, like, instead of letting, like, at this point, you don't know that this dude's bad. So he's like, instead of letting this trained SWAT officer, like, take down the vehicle next to them or shoot anything, Paul's just like, take the wheel. And he like decides to jump off of his car onto another moving car. Completely misses. Like, he should have died at that scene. Like, there's no way. But
he's too good, Paul.
Yeah,
and he just gets up and runs. Yeah. Those are all my scenes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had a few more to add on. And I'm also realizing, like, at the beginning of this season, I had, like, some certain expectations for how to rate the movies. Mm-hmm. And I realized, like, I rated them based on, like, how funny they were because, like, this whole, like, a meme scenario, right? I realize now that, like, it's not really fair to give it, like, a 40 if I gave the B movie, like, a 63. That's not a good one either. So if I really had to like rate it based on that, I'd probably like push both of them closer to like somewhere around a 50.
I like the B movie's music better though than Mall Cop.
There were some good songs in here.
There were, yeah. To be fair.
Yeah, what are the other scenes you had?
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll do those first. So they had the Segway video that they wanted to put on as like not Tinder, but like the dating website.
The online date, the 2010 equivalent.
Yeah. I don't know. That was just strange enough that it was funny.
It was weirdly like, it wasn't sexual. You can definitely not say that it was sexual.
There was one part that you could argue was, but like it was subtle enough that you couldn't really tell.
Was it him like humping forward on the thing, or?
Yeah, he was like going down on like the pole.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like the movement was subtle enough that like you couldn't really tell.
Have you guys been on a Segway before?
No, I've not.
I've been on a hoverboard that was essentially like a handlebar, like a Segway without a handlebar.
That makes sense. I've actually been on a Segway like once, like when I was a kid. We did like a tour around Raleigh. It's actually so sensitive. So the fact that he's like bucking so much, the fact that, like that's way too much force. Like it's like you said, you just lean a bit and you move really quickly. So like just everything he's trying to like improve on like the Segway's motion is just funny to me. He's trying so hard.
I always thought segways were like the closest I've been is like on a Lime scooter, but like I thought they were like kind of like that.
That's kind of a stretch.
A little bit, yeah.
Wait, so you lean forward to go forward?
Yeah.
It's not like you don't rotate a thing or.
Yeah.
You have to like tilt the handlebar to like
to turn,
right.
But for forward and back, it's just leaning.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they got like gyroscopes in there and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, this isn't really a meme because this is like an actual establishment, like most of the references in the movie. But I thought when I saw like legal seafoods, that was pretty funny because like it's not like you would have an illegal seafoods restaurant, right? Like,
yeah.
For a restaurant name, yeah.
Oh yeah, so like I think this was like the first interaction he had with, I forgot what her name was, like the person at the like the hair dye house.
Yeah.
Who?
Amy.
Amy, yeah. Okay. He was talking about like trying to buy hair extensions, and the first thing he says is, "Do you do men?" And then he tried to like correct himself. I assure you that went completely over my head when I saw it. Like
that went over my head this much. Like I didn't even pick up on that.
I mean, like I only picked up on it because he tried to like correct himself after that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Obviously, throwing the singer, that's like
classic
peak of comedy right there. You know the hurdle game he tries to play to like
make
himself feel better? That was so funny. Like
he's not even like jumping. He's like his feet are barely leaving the ground. Like he's just taking a long step.
And like
also, that's
every second you just hear that referee saying foul.
Also, like that's the worst game that's gotta exist in an arcade. Like who wants to run on a treadmill like at an arcade?
Oh my god.
I know, man.
That's what they do to trick people.
IRL Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Okay, like that's a banger of a game. But this just running on a treadmill. Like I want to do the.
I feel like for his size though, he's actually pretty like mobile. I guess that's the word here. I wouldn't say fit, but mobile.
I mean, like it's not like he's a complete scrub at like movement in general, right?
Yeah.
He has to know how to like move. But it's just for the sake of the movie that he tries to like make it more derpy, I guess. So,
true.
Yeah. I guess in some situations you can't like completely.
Do you think Kevin James was just 100% being himself during this movie, or do you think the personality is a little bit like created?
I mean, like it's exaggerated for sure. Like,
true.
I feel like Kevin James plays roughly the same character.
I feel like this is like 85% of his character. Yeah.
I forgot where else I've seen him because I know I have.
Neighbors, I think.
A lot of movies. Like
he's in the Adam Sandler kind of movies.
I mean, this was produced by Adam Sandler, so I fully see that. But
Grown Up, sorry, not Neighbors. Yeah, or was he in Neighbors? I don't remember.
Do you have any other scenes?
I thought he was from The King of Queens. I didn't see.
He is from The King of Queens.
He is, yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. Kevin Can Wait. I've seen ads for that too.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other scenes you want to talk about?
Not for me, but I can't think of anything else.
All right. We can go
I think
into
more will come up eventually.
Yeah, probably. We'll go on to Jar Jar Binks Award then. I'm actually curious who you guys said before you go.
So I said Leon was my Jar Jar Binks Award, like his friend. Just a bar scene where he just gets distracted, like by I don't know. I just think Leon's funny, and the whole plan kind of goes to like haywire right at the end because I think Leon can't fit into the vent.
They like trying to lift him up.
It's just a classic exaggeration of like a fat person, and they're just trying so hard.
I like how they already have Kevin James for like the fat jokes, and then they're like, let's just put another fat guy in here. Like why? It's like let's just do it.
And do you remember like the altercation when was it Sims and Leon is like trying to talk to Amy to like get her to like text Kevin or something, or Paul Blart,
Yeah,
and then he comes in with a gun, and then he's like, "What did you say?" And he's like, "I was wondering if you're serious about the burger." Or whatever. Like,
the Happy Meal.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a good. Yeah, he's a good character. What did you say,
Yeah.
Makthal?
Yeah, I mean, I really am like on the other side of this spectrum of reviewing these movies because like I just went with Paul Blart. Like I think it's
Fair enough.
no contest.
That's fair.
That was the easy.
I was gonna say him, but I thought you guys would too.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too much to back it up.
Yeah.
I don't think there's quite enough for the other characters to like argue like for any particular one of them. I think like collectively, like they all have meaningful scenes that can compare to Paul Blart's, but Paul Blart just has like all of them.
Yeah, it's like if Jar Jar was cast in a movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
The guy who's the word's named for.
So I agree. I was gonna say like Paul Blart's like the obvious like honorable mention, but like I said Vec for mine, mostly for the reason that like everyone else is kind of like kind of funny like on their own, but this is the guy who like tries to be serious but is funny because he tries to be serious.
Yeah,
Like,
I can see that.
That makes sense.
He starts out as like this like nice like exasperated guy. It kind of reminded me of Jim like from The Office.
Didn't he seem like he doesn't care and stuff?
Yeah, like he doesn't care about the job. He's just like kind of like, oh my god, like I have to be a security guard, and he just like looks at the camera. But he like after he sheds this persona, he becomes this like super like over the top like sarcastic like just stereotypical villain, and just like some of his lines are so cringy and like it's just so dumb like when you would say them. There's like this one line in particular that like I vividly remember even when I was a kid, I was like, this just doesn't make sense. It's like when he's like, I'm gonna go after Paul by myself, and he's like, it's like my mother always says, if you want something done right, waste the guy yourself. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but you get the point. He says this entire thing, and the dude, the look of the dude that he's talking to, he's just like, oh my god, I cannot believe I'm working for this dumbass. Like that was the face he made. Like
yeah. I mean, I actually kind of liked his character before, like, the big reveal.
Yeah, before he became a villain.
Because, like, he seems like this, like, just, like, lost guy. Like, what is he doing here and
He's
stuff.
a stand-up guy.
Yeah, and then, like
Will and Kent,
at the bar scene when, like, the pen salesman dude comes and he's trying to, like, harass Paul. Like, he stands up for him, and he's like, oh, dang, this man's, like, having his own, like, kind of dynamic characterization there. And then he just walks away when he says thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, can't do it all.
Yeah. So good choices all around. We'll go then to the next category, 5 minutes of internet trivia. Not a whole lot for this one, but here's some stuff that I found. So first off, 2 of Kevin James' real-life family members are seen in this movie. The karaoke singer who gets like shafted is actually his older brother, Gary Valentine. And
no wonder they let him do that.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess that's what makes sense. And the woman with the 2 children who Paul helps at the beginning of the movie, that's his wife, Stefania de la Cruz. So
I see.
And apparently, like when they were shooting at the mall, they would just let his wife and like his children just like walk around the mall and like have fun while he was shooting.
That sounds pretty fun. Like if I was a kid, my mom's like, all right, we're going to the mall today. Just run around or whatever.
Yeah.
But honestly, I kind of forgot that he had like a real family. I just keep thinking of Maya, like that actress, that girl, to be like his actual daughter. The association is too real.
Imagine visiting the set of Paul Blart Mall Cop, like the actual mall.
The mall. Is it a real mall? Or?
Yeah, it was a real mall. I didn't write down where.
It's still there.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's now a national landmark, so.
If it isn't, it should be.
And imagine like driving into like I don't know, some city. It's like you're approaching
Paul Blart's Mall. It's now just called Paul Blart's Mall.
It's like now I gotta stop by.
It becomes like a UNESCO heritage site.
Protected location.
All right, next trivia point I had with Jason Ellis, which is the bald tattooed skateboarder dude. He has a radio show on Sirius XM. And he actually just like set up a spot in the mall where he could continue to do his show while the movie was being made. So like literally he would just do takes, then go do his radio show. So
Dang.
quite a busy mall going on, honestly.
Get the bag, yeah.
Originally, there was going to be a scene near the end of the film where Maya would escape Beck's car by stabbing him in the leg with the pen she received from Stewart, which is the pen salesman. But this was cut because apparently they thought it was going to be too violent.
I feel like, okay, when you said it just now, it sounded a little bit violent, but I feel like they could do it in a funny way.
They could do it comedic way.
Like he does, and he like, I don't know, like he screams and it's just funny or something.
Yeah.
When you started talking about Maya, I was half hoping that you would say that she was going to be one of the people to turn on Paul Blart.
She was in on it. Like her getting captured was part of the plan to like turn up the pressure on Paul.
It reminds me of the astronaut meme. He's like, wait, you were in on it? He's like, always has been.
I mean, why else do you think they didn't want to like hurt any of the hostages? They were all in on it.
Yeah, fair enough. Last point I had was, so Happy Madison Productions, this is Adam Sandler's production company, like you said. And so Adam Sandler co-produced this, and this is the most successful movie he's ever co-produced that doesn't have himself on screen. And it reached over $100 million. So I think that's kind of insane.
Good for them.
It's one of those movies that when we were kids, it was like kind of good. So
I think it was also still in the era when people like paid for movies, like when they like buy like go to like Blockbuster or Redbox or whatever. Yeah.
Now
Also,
we don't pay for movies.
Yeah, we just pay for streaming services, if that. Yeah. I also wrote that the cashier in the Victoria's Secret is Adam Sandler's wife. So the woman who's like not trying to break up that fight.
Yeah. Dang, a lot of cameos in here.
Yeah. They didn't have extras, they just brought their families in.
Using the whole team.
Yeah. All right. We can go then. Actually. Yeah, I mean, if I made a movie, I'd just like bring in my family, and if you wanted to be in it, you could be in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, then we can move to most underrated. So we'll start with most underrated scene. So for me, the most what I chose was the scene where Paul takes down that last like henchman with like the robots, and like I feel like no one else would have said that, but like the reason I like it so much is like I actually have that robot, and I went and found it like when like I saw it in a movie, and like it just brought back nostalgia for me. For whatever reason, I also have the mini version of that robot. So
dang.
Yeah,
this was your movie.
It was a nostalgia trip for me to see that, and then
Does
like
it have batteries in it?
No, it's long dead. Like I could maybe put batteries in it, but.
Yeah, I was thinking like you can make it do like the dance thing that it did.
Dude, that is such a like iconic dance for the robot.
I actually
like,
think I had one too.
Yeah, I don't know if they like sold the rights to that movie like from like or the movie got like rights to the robot, like did some advertising deal or some shit. But like that was an iconic moment for me. And then just like him like coming out of the hockey mask and like doing the slow-mo to him hitting him, that was insane.
Yeah, I gotta say that was like a pretty good scene, because like I think that was also kind of reasonable too. Like if you're wearing like full like pads and armor, right? Or not armor, but like a helmet and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's a little more believable that you could like take a few bullets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
For me, you guys know, it's not exactly like a whole scene, but it's kind of I thought was for me because I just hated him the whole time. Like, do you remember the phone call when Paul's talking to the chief and he's like, "Give it to me," and then he starts like just shit talking Paul and saying like we beat up on him, like, "Yeah, what's up, Paul?" And he just makes like TV static and just calls the guy back on his cell phone. Just Ken just being an asshole from there. I just really liked when he got caught at the end. Like, I was kind of hoping he was a villain, I think, the first time. And then when he ended up being a villain and getting caught, I thought that was underrated. Just
I
Paul.
that was a power move when he just like called his manager like on his own
on the phone. Did you see the phone too?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the part where like he was like saying some shit about high school and he's like, I used to like beat you up at lunch or something, and he was like, yeah, sorry, I missed all of that. I only heard the words like lunch and friends.
Yeah, it was that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good scene.
I think my underrated scene's the Segway ride that he gives Amy, because like Chad plays right there. Like you just gotta respect it.
Mm-hmm.
True. Is it possible to put two people on a Segway? That was the one problem I had with that scene, because I don't know if like
it's
he's
probably
a big
not
dude.
possible.
It's not, unless it's like a kid or something.
Like I've ridden a lime scooter with another person, and that was a mistake. Like,
how? Like the thing's like narrow.
Yeah. At one point, I was controlling it, and like I was just like, oh, like I was about to lose control, and I was just like, oh shit, like bail, and I just jumped off.
Oh.
Have y'all
it
ever
was
played,
good. It was good.
It's probably not much better with a Segway.
Skate?
Huh?
Skate?
It's like it's a skating game, but
no,
like
I don't think I played it.
There'll be like moments in that game where you can like do like this crazy trick and whatnot, but like for whatever reason you just bail at the end.
Yeah,
that's
probably what happened. That was probably what I did.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, like, even if it's not like physically possible, like the fact that he can convince someone to do something like that, like.
Fair enough. I also like the music. That song. I don't know what it's called. Some 80s song, but they bring it back later in the movie, and that was a good callback.
No, it's good music.
All right. Underrated character next. So I said the head of the mall security. I don't know his name, but I thought it was really funny. He's like guiding like Paul the whole time, and then there's like that scene where he's like gives him like the list of comebacks to like he wrote down. I paused it there and wrote down like what he like wrote down on the paper, and like you got such classics as like, yeah, you in what army? Don't quit your day job. You kiss your mother with that mouth. I'm rubber, you're glue. And the good old fashioned Drake says what? These are like the like epitome of like elementary school insults, and then they just like wrote them all down, put them on a list.
I feel like he wrote them all down because each one of those probably worked for him in a scenario, and he's like, good one. Let me just note it.
Yeah. Imagine the irony if after Vex says like, I'm paraphrasing of course, but like I'll waste them myself or whatnot. But like that's him like saying like what his mother would have said. Imagine saying like, you kiss your mother with that mouth. After that.
Yeah.
It's just like so many levels.
Yeah, I actually kind of also agree with you, Sujay. You're talking about Brooks, right? That's who I said.
I think so.
Ball chief, yeah.
He's like his actual manager.
Yeah, that's who I said was an underrated character. I mean, I thought Paul was pretty underrated, but like also not because the movie's about him. So yeah. I just like the mall security guard. I mean, he was pretty good friends with him the whole time, right? And he helps him in the end. It was a cathartic moment.
He shoots the SWAT officer with another person's gun. Like, he just pulls it out.
And he's, like, shaking while he's, like, shooting.
Like, I don't know where, like, like, he's a mall security guard. He doesn't have a gun. Like, why would he take someone else's?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's kind of interesting that you mentioned Paul because, like, the whole point of the movie is that he's underrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was almost gonna choose the head of security too, but I just went with Leon because I don't know, he's just a likable character.
He's like the friend to Get Out.
Yeah. He's got a cool T-shirt. I really like his T-shirt.
The flame thing. I think.
I forgot what it looks like.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Guy Fieri T-shirt. It's like black and it has like flames on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
But
I'm just so glad his name is Leon too. It's like it's no better name.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fitting, I think. But let's see. In the hot sauce scene when he like chucks the hot sauce bottle and he's like, get him. That was just so funny.
Yeah. All right, we can go into underrated aspect. So for me, I said the underrated aspect is like what an absolute god Paul is on that Segway. Like you said, those things are so hard to maneuver. And like he does like, okay, all these like big action scenes that like are overdone, like when he's like jumping off buildings with it, like that's like one thing. But just like I really like the way he like maneuvers it like on a like regular basis. Like when I think there's a scene where he's like getting an elevator and he like rolls up, pushes it, and then like does like a back out scene and reverses into the elevator. I feel like that's really hard.
Yeah.
But like he was pretty seamless with it, so I thought it was pretty cool.
No, he's got quite a few things that he's actually good at. I mean, riding cycle is one of them. I think playing Rock Band was another.
Tossing hot sauce into people's eyes.
Yeah. That aim.
That was an A1
but not capitalizing. Probably should have capitalized.
Bro, the whole like the way he looks when he's like trying to figure out what to do is just so funny. Like he just like
he's like
and I should find a clip of that and just like play it on loop. Like I think I could stay entertained for a solid 5 minutes.
Sure. What did you guys say?
For me, I really like the Segway thing. I just thought the fact that Paul is like trained to be a real cop is underrated. Like he actually kind of does have some of these skills. Like doesn't he get offered a job at the end, right? To like join the police department?
Yeah.
He's actually like not that terrible of like, you know, I mean, I know he's a good mall cop, but in terms of doing like all the physical aspects and stuff, he can kind of pull it off. So I was impressed by that. I thought he'd be like a lot more useless, especially like rewatching it again.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even that he can he can pull it off.
Yeah.
But he just didn't have hypoglycemia.
True. I mean, he would have passed, right, without his hypoglycemia.
Passes out like what, a foot before the finish line? Like he could have passed out after that, and he would have passed.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what I went with here was, we're talking about how funny this movie is. So like, I'm surprised how little people actually use it in memes in general. Because like I was doing some research on like what's already out there, so I can like kind of prepare for like what I'm gonna put in the Instagram post. But I realized like a lot of them just follow like the same. Yeah, like if there are any, like they follow like the same format, and nothing else from the movie ever gets used. So like, I think that's pretty underrated. There's a lot of meme potential here.
There really is. The whole movie is just kind of.
I would say that this takes place in like, I want to say like a different age of comedy movies than we have now. Like there was like a period where it was all just like Adam Sandler, Kevin James movies, like this whole like group, like and they like would make all of these comedy movies, and like those are the movies that we watched like kind of as a kid, and then it kind of like evolved into like the Kevin Hart, like Dwayne Johnson type comedy movies, and now I don't even know what they're doing. Like I feel like they just don't make movies like this anymore.
Yeah, because everyone just like shits on it, I guess.
Yeah, I think you're right actually with the comparison. Like I saw a movie trailer the other day for Die Hard, and it's like Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I think it's
like this was
like the end of the Kevin Hart era. Like,
is it really?
He's kind of waning out now. He definitely made a lot more movies like earlier, but
I actually never thought about that. That they're like the new age Adam Sandler, Kevin James. Yeah.
All right. We'll go to our last category, most overrated. So, most overrated scene. So I said the scene where Paul's daughter just walks into the mall when it's on like full lockdown. Like, okay, at this point, like the mall is surrounded by police, and she somehow didn't see any of them. And also, like the goons are going around like locking all the doors, and like she just walks right into this one and like runs into a guy like immediately. So like I don't understand like how they missed this one. Like I think this is the same door. They already had like a flashbang like on. So like I don't understand how she got in. Like I think they should have had her like already in the mall somewhere, and then she like got caught by the people. I think that would have made more sense. But just her walking in afterwards like wasn't really clear.
For me, I thought it was really overrated honestly, the segue scene I thought was a bit overrated. Just because
one?
I didn't think
You'll have to be
segues.
more specific.
I don't even remember if it was like one scene. I guess yeah. It's just how he maneuvers the segue. It's just not how a segue should move, like for the most part. And it's very funny, of course, but I don't know. Yeah.
As an
Not even just me, but
experienced Segway driver.
yeah, of course. I could never.
And you know what? We should have made like a video of like, yeah, just Surya reacting to the whole movie. Because like we have someone who's like I don't know, like a mall cop. Like the idea of a mall cop watching this movie. Imagine like someone who's like actually good at like driving Segway. Do you think like any of that?
Taking notes. It doesn't work that way.
It's like the label that comes under is like Surya Tumbapura, pro Segwayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if like a real Jedi watched the Star Wars movies, you know? What would they say?
I would watch that. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd say the Rainforest Cafe scene just does not make any sense. Like, there's no way that any of that could have happened.
When he hits the like fire like extinguisher and it just like explodes into another dude.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I don't
even
think that's
then,
how
like,
that works.
just picture yourself in a rainforest cafe, right? Like, I get that it's like it's dark and you got like all these props and everything, but it can't be that hard to find a single person after like especially in such a contained area. Like, how do you not find them? I don't know. Maybe if he like broke out the fog machine earlier, it would have.
He also rigged an explosion to go off. Like, he started a gas leak and then like exploded like half the restaurant.
Dude, Paul can do anything.
There's
Yeah,
like the poor
I like that
owner of the
part.
Rainforest Cafe who was like, dude, why'd you do this?
Like, I like the explosion part because I mean, yeah, just because it's an explosion, like. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
All right. We'll go to overrated character next. So I don't know if this is like an unpopular opinion, but I think the parkour henchmen were a little bit extra.
Oh
Like,
my god.
I'm 100% with you on there.
Okay,
They
cool.
were extra.
I said like it's cool how they had a certain level of like uniqueness to the movie, which I like. It's not just like your standard like bad guys, but like did Vec go to like a BMX event and then like recruit exclusively from there? Like there's so extra with their like parkour abilities.
I wish they would have mentioned something like that. Like,
yeah, like they just don't reference it at all either. Like what's really funny is like when they're initially taking over the mall, like one guy's like got a gun in the air and he's like everybody out, and there's just another guy doing like bike like flips off a ramp.
yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
Like when they bring the like that big box in, you're thinking, okay, you know, like there's something off about these people, and they just take out like skateboards.
Yeah, like I swear, like they all brought like maybe like 4 or 5 guns, and then they brought like 20 skateboards to just roll around on.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean, since I went with the same like idea there, I think I'll like segue off of that, see what I did there.
Hey,
Oh.
nice fun.
But like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like they're all armed, right? But then they just prefer to like, instead of, you know, like use their gun to do like whatever they need to, they decide to just chase around Paul like on his Segway.
Yeah.
I mean, like even like the guy with the long hair, like he used it when he was far away, but once he got close, he just pulls out a baton. Like it's not like I don't know what
You
their
can still shoot a
intentions
person right next to them.
Yeah.
For me, so I agree with the sentiment about the acrobatic people. Yeah, it was a bit extra. For me, I'm just gonna stick with Kent. I just did not like him. See, I like the characters who are evil with like a purpose, kind of like I kind of like Sims. Like I actually liked him before, and I still liked him as a villain. But Kent was just an asshole for like no reason. So
Wait,
I don't
is
know.
Kent
is the guy who was a SWAT dude, and then switches sides. Yeah. I don't know. He was just I was just hoping that he got like canned at the end. So
Yeah. I kind of use that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he was like a close second for me because like to me it once again it seems so bizarre that like the commander of the SWAT team is in on this too. Like how long
what
did he
are
have to be in the SWAT team to like prepare for this moment?
He went to a BMX event, SWAT. He's recruiting out of everywhere.
Yeah, that's kind of my. I'll use that as the segue. It's my overrated aspect was Vec's plan. So like, yeah, like okay, the concept is like he wants to steal $30 million from a mall by stealing the credit card codes. So like, this is an okay plan, I guess, but I feel like this could have worked a lot better if he decided to like hack them or do something like secretive instead of storming the mall and like just taking it over. So it's like, okay, you got the BMX guys, you got your inside man on the SWATs, and like you could have like just hacked them and like take it over. But no, he's like, I gotta storm the mall and take it by force. So like these are credit card codes, right?
Yeah.
If you know that they've been stolen, you can just cancel them, and like you have nothing. Like So like I don't understand. Like if he had secretly done it, like he could have probably gotten some money before like they figured it out. But no, like you're making news by like taking over a mall. And then like just the part of like him having an inside man on the SWAT who doesn't do anything until the end. Yeah, it just seemed pretty stupid to me.
I mean, even to carry out that plan, like it would have taken like I don't know how many years of that guy like in the SWAT team.
How long have you been preparing for this mission? He's like, my whole life. That's why I joined the SWAT.
But I mean, I would like piggyback off of that too because like mine was also like the whole plan pretty much. But I want to give Surya a chance to like talk about his overrated stuff too.
Okay, so you want to go last then? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like you didn't say your character yet, right?
I thought Kent and like the fact that
he said a SWAT guy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The fact that he was in on the plan and just him. Okay, so then I guess I'll go ahead with my aspect. And I might be on the wrong, like it's a little separate here, but I kind of just how Paul Blart pulls everything off. I thought was just so overrated. Like he's kind of acrobatic in his own way. Like when he's climbing into the vents, and when he's so heavy that like the vent, the metal part, like you can tell where he is in the vent. But they still can't manage to hit him with the pole, and they like keep missing him and stuff. Like it's comedy, but that and like the fire extinguisher like perfectly like hitting like the other dude and like the hot sauce like aimed right at his face. Like, I mean it's comedy, but I just thought it was overrated.
Convenient stuff that's like, all right, it's for the joke. But,
I mean, I didn't hate it, but I just thought it was overrated.
I mean, at the very least, you know what would have made a lot more sense is if that fire extinguisher was like sitting on like a cart or something. And then it just into him, right?
The fire extinguisher itself, but rockets up into him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So my aspect was like the whole idea, pretty much. But I think kind of like more focusing on the getaway plan. So once they rob, like the mall,
that too, yeah.
Right? They decide to like just drive away to like some random airport, and for whatever reason, you can get into like the actual runway in your car, right? And there's just a bunch of private jets waiting for them, and they're gonna go after doing this like ridiculous plan, just fly to the Cayman Islands. Like it's not like as if like nothing happens after that. Like there's no way they can get caught.
Yeah. What I assumed happened was that like Vex set the plane up and stuff for the getaway. But like what I don't understand is like this was supposed to be like 6 or 7, like honestly like maybe like 10 people on this crew. And like he just steals a van. Like what was your plan to go from the mall to the airport?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. Like
the other people are just gonna BMX their way over there.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, that was their plan.
Yeah, and also what I didn't like is how do they all expect to be like unaccounted for? Because like, I mean, I guess Sim's like, I don't know, he can quit his job as like the mall guard, but like even Kent, like he's in SWAT, right? So if he's just gone like in the Cayman Islands, like what are they gonna do about that? Like I don't know. There's
got 30
holes
million in the Cayman Islands.
True. He could
Yeah,
be
I mean,
on
unless
vacation.
everyone in the Cayman Islands, like, and the government included, is trying to like cover for them too.
Yeah. Also, that's insane. Is there really $30 million in any like one day in the mall? Yeah, is there that much expenditure?
Who thought of let's go rob a mall? Like
It just seems like such a poor idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I've seen like not so much like the mall cop aspect of it, but like mall like heists. I've seen that idea in movies before, but yeah, once again, like I didn't watch it, so I didn't really like see what they were about. But I don't know. Maybe there is something there that more people should know about.
Yep. All right. Well, you guys have anything else you want to say? Overrated, otherwise, about the movie?
I think I underrated it at the beginning. Maybe it's just because like at the time that I watched it, like I just wanted to go to bed, but I don't know. Yeah. Definitely over like all the episodes I've done, like I tried to stick to like a heuristic for rating the movies, but clearly like I don't think I stuck to it.
I mean, I mean, I guess not everyone would rate it high either. I guess as high as Sujay and I. I guess for me, I just kind of envision it being like the way we watched it, Sujay. Like
it's the nostalgia. That's
kids, like,
mostly what I liked about
over.
This movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, it's definitely like a funny movie. If you'd watch it as a kid to rewatch it now, like I definitely recommend that because it is pretty funny. And like,
if you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna be like you should check out.
It's still an okay movie. Like it's a good comedy movie because like I said, I don't think they make movies like this anymore. So if you're trying to find a comedy movie, check out Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it could be a lot worse, right? This is meant to be a comedy movie, so I guess it does make more sense to have like the things that don't make sense, like pass them on. But,
like it has a plot. Like a lot of like Adam Sandler, Kevin James movies just don't have a plot, like Grown Ups and stuff. It's just them dicking around the whole movie. But this one actually has a plot and it like sticks to it, and like they make jokes like through it. So I think that's pretty underrated. But
makes
yeah.
sense.
Well, this is the last episode of season 2. So thanks you guys for being on it. And yeah, this episode was unofficially sponsored by Edbuck Cam or whatever the fuck keeps popping up on Surya's screen.
Yes.
If there's anyone listening from Edbuck Cam, please send us money.
We will keep using it.
Well, I will. Is that how sponsorships work?
We just say them. Yeah, like Polo, send us money.
Isn't Honey sponsoring this video too?
Hey, okay, gotta go get some honey.
Yeah. But yeah, until next time. Bye.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like there was supposed to be something a lot more like climactic about that.
Thank you for listening to our season finale on Paul Blart Mall Cop. Another season has come and gone, so big thank you to everyone who's watched these episodes. I appreciate all of you. We'll probably be taking a larger break before starting season 3, so in the meantime, please follow us on whatever platform you're listening to this on, and also follow our Instagram at Overrated Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit us up with a like and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching, and this has been Overrated.